few weeks ago, my brother went on a camping trip with his friends. He would send me video updates every day, counting down the days until his return. On Tuesday, he stopped. I brushed it off and chalked it up to a weak signal in the forest. But I didn't even receive a text on Wednesday either. My guts wrenched as I lay in bed that night, thinking of what could have happened to him. The next morning, I made my way over to the police station. I tried to speak to them about my brother, but they dismissed it. Later that day, 2 rangers showed up at my house. They introduced themselves and spoke to me about my brother, but still, they dismissed the case and told me he would show up soon. The next day, I decided to head up to the forest and look for my brother. I thought that if the cops and the park rangers wouldn't help me, I would help myself. As I pulled up to the edge of the forest, I saw the 2 rangers getting out of their car. They exchanged worried glances as they saw me. "I thought we told you to stay put. Your brother will be back soon," they told me. "I'm going to look for Brian. You can't stop me," I responded. They reluctantly allowed me to tag along with them. Hours later, we were still walking through the woods, looking for a sign that anybody had even been in the forest. "Hey, look up there," the shorter ranger whispered to the taller one. They pointed at what looked like what once was a campsite. As we approached, we saw the campsite more clearly. It was in ruins, the tents wrecked, torn to shreds and covered in blood. There were clothes everywhere and food sprawled across the ground. As I stepped forward, I heard a loud plastic crunch. I looked down at what was under my foot. It was a phone, Brian's phone. The screen was shattered and the battery was dead. It hadn't been used in days. Tears welled in my eyes as I grew worried that I would find Brian and see something I wouldn't want to. "That's crazy. They don't even live out here." I heard the ranger speaking faintly. "I know, but the hunting patterns match. There's nothing else it could be." The rangers spoke quietly, as if I wasn't supposed to hear what they were saying. "What do you mean?" I interrupted them. "It's a grizzly attack, of course. Grizzlies live out here." I kind of chuckled as I spoke. My stomach dropped as I watched the 2 men face each other. I couldn't tell what their expressions meant, but I could tell it wasn't good. "It's not a grizzly." The tall ranger paused. "It's something else," he told me. I felt my body tense. I could feel the fear pumping through my veins as the rangers spoke. We continued, but this time it was different. Nobody spoke, and there was too much tension and fear in the air. Soon we reached a nearby cave. I wandered in, mindlessly following the 2 rangers. I gasped loudly as I tripped. My hands scraped the rocky surface below in an attempt to catch myself, and I felt the blood start to drip out of the cuts on my palms and knees. Quickly, the 2 rangers helped me up before turning their flashlight towards me. I slowly looked down to see what I tripped on, and I saw the lifeless body of my brother. His clothes were torn apart and drenched in blood. I opened my mouth to scream, but one of the rangers quickly covered my mouth with his hand. "Listen," he told me. I heard a faint growl from the other side of the cave. Soon the growl grew louder. We began hearing footsteps. The rangers pulled me aside, still covering my mouth as we hid behind a rock. The growls became scarily loud, and the footsteps were so close. I closed my eyes tightly and hoped everything would go away, but when I opened them, I saw it. The tall, dark figure stood on deer-like legs. The body was rotting, and its ribs were exposed. Its arms were long and dragged across the ground as it walked, and its sharp nails looked like daggers. The face of the creature was grotesque. It looked similar to the skull of a moose. Its teeth resembled stalactites. It had huge yellow eyes, and its bony spine had a trail of thin spikes of brown fur. I felt sick looking at it. As I closed my eyes again, I took a deep breath as I waited for it to pass. When I opened my eyes again, it had stopped. It quickly turned to look at me. "Run now," the rangers shouted.